Everyone in the small town of Willow Creek thought Henry Cole had finally lost his mind. He was a quiet, middle-aged mechanic who never had much, lived simply, and was known for fixing cars others had given up on. But one morning, he rolled into town towing the ugliest, rustiest pickup truck anyone had ever seen. Its paint was peeling like sunburned skin, the doors hung unevenly, and one headlight was missing altogether. People stared. The gas station clerk laughed. "Henry, you got ripped off. That heap looks older than you." Henry just smiled. "Maybe," he said softly. "But she's got good bones." No one believed him. He'd spent the last of his savings, $800, on that wreck. His neighbor, Mr. Jenkins, shook his head. "You could have bought yourself a decent used car, Henry. What's the point of this junk?" Henry didn't argue. He saw something no one else could see. When he touched the truck's steering wheel, it felt alive, like it was holding a story. That night, in his small garage behind his house, Henry set to work. The rain tapped gently on the tin roof as he wiped away years of grime from the truck's surface. On the tailgate, barely visible under the rust, he noticed faint letters. CW Motors, a brand that didn't exist anymore. He searched it online but found nothing. That's when his curiosity deepened. Word spread quickly. By noon the next day, the rusty gold truck, as people sarcastically called it, had become a town joke. Kids would drive by and shout, "Hey Henry, where's the rest of it?" Even his old friends from the auto shop teased him. "If that thing makes it to the end of the street, I'll eat my wrench," one said. Henry chuckled, but deep down, the laughter hurt. He wasn't a fool. He knew people saw him as the old dreamer who still believed in miracles. But that belief was all he had left. His wife, Anna, had passed away 2 years before, and the silence in his home had nearly drowned him. Restoring the truck wasn't just a project. It was his way of staying alive. Late one evening, as he scraped off another layer of rust, Henry noticed something strange. The metal beneath wasn't like normal steel. It was smoother, heavier, and it didn't corrode. He frowned, grabbed a small file, and scraped harder. The sound changed. A dull clink echoed through the garage. It wasn't rust anymore. It was something shining, something bright. He leaned closer, wiping the spot clean. His eyes widened. Beneath the corroded layers, a glimmer of gold caught the light. Henry barely slept that night. At dawn, he grabbed his tools and started carefully sanding away more of the truck's panels. Each layer revealed more of the same, not rusted steel but golden metal beneath it. "This can't be real," he whispered to himself. To confirm, he called his apprentice, Luke, a young mechanic who often helped him on weekends. "Bring the testing kit," Henry said. "I need you to see something." When Luke arrived and ran a quick test on a small flake, his mouth dropped open. "Henry, this is gold-plated metal. Not paint, solid plating. Where did you get this truck?" Henry hesitated. "Bought it from an old estate auction. No record of the owner." They worked for hours, uncovering more. The frame, the hood, even the bumpers, all were coated in gold, hidden beneath layers of oxidation and grime. Still, Henry wasn't celebrating. Something about it felt wrong, like whoever built this truck never wanted it to be found. In the glove compartment, he found a sealed envelope containing a key and a folded note. The note read, "To the one who restores this truck, your honesty will determine your fortune." Henry stared at it, chills running down his spine. The next morning, Luke couldn't keep the secret. He mentioned the gold truck to a friend, who told another, and by evening half the town knew. Now the same people who had mocked Henry were showing up at his garage, pretending to be curious. Reporters, treasure hunters, even local authorities wanted to know more. Henry tried to keep them away, insisting it was just a rumor, but photos had already leaked. One reporter from the city confronted him. "Mr. Cole, are you aware that CW Motors was a confidential prototype brand tied to Carlton Wexler, the billionaire industrialist who disappeared in the 1970s? Henry froze. "Disappeared?" "Yes. And rumor has it he hid a fortune somewhere in his inventions, vehicles made of pure gold." Suddenly, everything made sense. The cryptic nameplate, the hidden note, the strange alloys. Henry realized this wasn't just about money, it was a legacy waiting to be discovered. But the attention became dangerous. One night, someone tried to break into his garage. Henry barely scared them off by firing a warning shot into the air. He knew then he had to move the truck somewhere safe and find out exactly what he was dealing with. Henry and Luke transported the truck to a trusted engineer in the city, Dr. Marla Torres, an expert in metals and restoration. She was skeptical at first, until she saw it with her own eyes. "This isn't just gold," she said after testing a piece. "It's a composite of gold and titanium, stronger than steel, more valuable than any known industrial alloy. Whoever built this was decades ahead of their time." Henry handed her the note he found. She studied it and smiled. Carlton Wexler was known for cryptic messages. He believed in rewarding integrity. "If you bought this truck fair and square, Henry, I think you've inherited something extraordinary." The lab confirmed it. The entire frame was plated with precious metal, worth millions. When Henry returned to Willow Creek, the same people who laughed at him lined up outside his home, hoping for a handshake or a smile. Reporters crowded his driveway. But Henry wasn't angry. He just nodded politely and said, "Sometimes what's worth the most is hidden under what people throw away." Within days, collectors and corporations began calling. One offer came from a private museum in New York, $30 million for the truck. Another came from the Wexler Family Foundation, claiming they wanted to display it as part of their founder's legacy. Henry thought long and hard. He didn't want fame or fortune. He wanted peace. He finally agreed to donate the truck to a museum on one condition: that the proceeds from its display go to fund scholarships for young mechanics and engineers from poor towns like his. The decision stunned everyone. He could have retired in luxury, but instead, he chose to give others a future. Luke asked him, "Why'd you do it, Henry? You could have bought anything." Henry smiled. "Because true gold isn't what you find under rust. It's what you find inside your heart." A year later, the restored Wexler gold truck was unveiled in a grand museum in New York. It shone under bright lights, every inch gleaming like the sun. On a small plaque below it read, "Restored by Henry Cole, proof that value often hides beneath what others throw away." Henry stood quietly in the back row as cameras flashed. He wasn't wearing a suit or a watch, just his old denim jacket and the same boots he wore when he bought the truck. When the curator invited him to speak, he simply said, "When I bought that truck, I didn't see gold. I saw potential. Maybe that's what we're all made of, something precious, just waiting to be uncovered." The audience rose to their feet in applause. That night, as Henry walked back to his modest home in Willow Creek, he looked up at the stars and whispered, "I hope you're proud, Anna." And somewhere in the quiet night breeze, it almost felt like she whispered back,